Central Java and Tegal in particular have been really at the forefront of taking action in the interests of protecting not just migrant fishers, but fishers. It's a huge industry which gives jobs to many, many people and is vital for the economy and the growth of the area. So what I really think is really important in ILO fields is that it's not just about showing to the outside world about the economic gains, but also showing how important it is to protect workers working in some of the most difficult circumstances.
So we want, through this trade partnership, to increase the added value of the product that come from Indonesia. So higher value product, more money for Indonesians, but this has to be spread more evenly among workers.
Mengapa Tegal menjadi pilihan kunjungan delegasi?
Why do you choose this area as the visit destination?
Central Java and Tegal in particular have been really at the forefront of taking action in the interests of protecting not just migrant fishers, but fishers. It's a huge industry which gives jobs to many, many people and is vital for the economy and the growth of the area. So what I really think is really important in ILO fields is that it's not just about showing to the outside world about the economic gains, but also showing how important it is to protect workers working in some of the most difficult circumstances. We saw how long they go out to sea, their living conditions. It's not the best fancy job, of course not. So I think in that sense, this was a really real experience, but one that really gave us confidence that the Indonesian authorities, and certainly the authorities here in Tegal, are committed to taking the lead in terms of working collaboratively with other people, other entities. So we saw today inspection from Manpower Ministry, and we also saw inspection from Fisheries and Marine Ministry. That type of collaboration is hand in hand. Those that know about fishing and those that know about workers and working conditions and safety and health on board vessels. So this was a very important reason why we chose Tegal and this port visit. And we will also actually be seeing another gem, I think, coming from Tegal, which is a migration or migrant resource center, which is also, again, an attempt to do a collaboration with those that have the interests of workers in mind, namely workers' organizations, SBMI, working closely with, again, the manpower, the fisheries, the inspections, port authorities, harbor master, you name it. So these people will, this migrant resource center is also something to showcase where they provide services that help prevent the kind of exploitation that migrant fishers might have if they go on board. So I think you see both sides of working for Indonesian fishers, their safety, their well-being, and then also how we can prevent the worst forms of exploitation of workers, especially those that might be migrant fishers.
So this program already ran almost 5 years, right? So how does maybe ILO measures the long-term success of this program? As you mentioned that you create MRC too. Is MRC going keep running after this program finish, or maybe you can there's another new initiatives to leverage the cooperation maybe?
I'm very optimistic. And I think it's important we all hold the government and the central governments or the ones responsible in the regions accountable. They have committed. And we see this already. We have another MRC, Migrant Resource Center, from another ILO's program of work. And it's in Cirebon. Sorry.
Pemalan officers.
No, I'm talking about the Cirebon
it's
one.
about-
That has won twice, 2 years in a row, awards from the Manpower Ministry for doing that exact service for migrant and potential migrant workers to prevent this coordination. And they're funding it themselves. The ILO is not putting in a single rupiah anymore. And that to me is the most beautiful achievement. And this is happening in Tegal. And I don't think, I mean, once you have a taste of something that works, and I'm convinced, I think you will, the authorities, with the commitment you see from the regional secretary, from the acting governor, with the inspectors, the energy you see, they will not let this fall behind. And I think they see this to be replicated in many other places in the country.
How do you see it as you just see the port facing there, and then you come up the boat and you see the fishermen around, and there's a boy and a girl also. So how do you see the strategic partnership between EU and also Indonesia, particularly with regard to sustainable fisheries and labor rights?
And thank you, selamat siang. Very happy to be here and to be able to meet the fishermen who do really hard work. It is really hard. We can see that the conditions are tough, that people can be up in the sea for up to 70 days in a row. So very tough conditions. And in such an environment, it's very important for European consumers to know that there are labor standards. Europeans are more and more interested in knowing how the product was fished, how it was produced, how it was manufactured, how the good was harvested. So for that, they will always have a preference for products from countries with higher labor standards. So the partnership here is that the EU taxpayer funds the ILO to support the government's commitment to raise the labor standards for the most vulnerable population.
Okay, so in the future, what areas maybe you're gonna leverage your cooperation between EU and Indonesia related to this partnership?
Well, the key negotiation that is ongoing in this partnership is the negotiation for a free trade agreement. So in the draft agreement, we are working on it, it's not finished yet, but in the draft we have a chapter on trade, sustainability and labor standards. So we want to make sure that our joint trade, so how we sell and buy from each other, is conducive to better social standards both in Europe and Indonesia. So we want, through this trade partnership, to increase the added value of the product that come from Indonesia. So higher value product, more money for Indonesians, but this has to be spread more evenly among workers.